Konstanty, there's been a lot of discussion here at MWC about the AI supercycle.
Yeah.
How does Nokia define that?
Yeah. Well, I think there's three things. One is it's a structural shift in terms of how compute ultimately will get deployed in the network, and also it's multi-wave. So if you think about it, started with ChatGPT 3.5 years ago. Now we're moving to agents. We're going to move to physical AI, and all of it needs to run in the network. And then finally, it's also multi-decade. This is not something that just will happen this year or happen a few years ago. We believe it's a 5, 10, 15-year process in which AI will get embedded into the network. So all these devices, cars, glasses, robots, are going to work on the network together in a way that we can deliver as the only Western provider of end-to-end IP switching, optics, core and RAN.
Yeah. I mean, you talk about physical AI.
Yeah.
What is that? Make that live for us.
Yeah, look, I think it's, let's think about robotics, right? And this could be on the factory floor. This ultimately could be also robots in our consumer environment. So let's say consumer versus business. And they have different requirements. It's going to be machine. They're going to have to talk to sensors. They're going to have to talk to the network at different endpoints. So it's a machine-to-machine traffic, which is more bursty, different uplink to downlink ratio. And for that, you'll need a different network design. You'll then need different speed. You'll need different AI functions and AI itself managing the traffic, because the robot will need, in certain cases, a sub 1 millisecond latency.
Right.
And so it's really that future in which there's many, many more machines communicating to each other, the physical machines themselves.
Is it true that all physical AI is edge technology?
I don't think so. I think it's going to be certain physical AI should be able to go back to the cloud because it's not going to require, like in non-mission critical, as an example. So there's going to be certain mission critical workloads.
Yeah.
This is also possibly in defense,
Yes.
where you need to have that very low sub 1 millisecond latency, where the decision that the machine needs to make has to be done at the edge.
So you're talking about robots, but now we're really talking about trillions, potentially, of points in the network, in
Yes.
the constellation of Industry 4.0. Not just robots, but beyond the robots, sensors everywhere, RFID and other types of optical sensor. And do we actually need a completely new iteration of network in order to support that? It sounds like maybe we do.
Yeah, in order to manage this, potential vision of trillions of robots and humanoid robots or machines, humans are not going to be able to do it. It's going to have to be AI managing it itself.
Yeah.
So the network and again requirements and the compute that sits behind the network and it's coupled with the network will be different. And we at Nokia can have that vision because we also have the labs, which thinks through truly out there research 10, 15 years out, all the way to our day-to-day R&D, where we're thinking through our portfolio today. And what we're investing in. Example being the AI RAN work with NVIDIA.
Yeah, very important. I mean, that's really the connection between that physical world and also the carrier world into the AI core, isn't it? And so that seems like a critical link in this supply chain of the new digital economy. I'm thinking that 6G must somehow roll into this at some point. I mean, I know the narrative lasts decades, as you're saying, and I totally agree with that. Is this going to be a fortuitous timing that as we start to see sort of the Internet of Trillions, that 6G arrives and it's just the right AI native, security native technology that we've been waiting for?
Yeah, look, our vision for 6G as we laid out is that it actually is a software upgrade.
Okay.
And so 6G standards are happening obviously already. They are AI native, so all the partners around the globe who are designing it are thinking through how AI not only runs on the network, but is embedded in the network. And then for us as a business, if you think of velocity of selling a box versus selling a software upgrade, a different business model.
Yes.
So 6G will be, AI is already here, right? So the good news is we have something to learn from the data center world, from the compute world, and from all the agentic AI already happening, and how we embed it in the standard so we can be efficient, and the telcos, then our customers can go in and ultimately have a solution where if they pick different vendors, it's still interoperable, it's secure, and it's performant.
Are carriers in the loop? What about neo-cloud vendors and
Yes.
hyperscalers? Are they just going to come in and say, hey, we don't need you guys, we're just going to
Yeah.
put the inference in some new device which we're going to deploy, or do carriers stay in the loop?
Well, I think this is their opportunity to come back into the loop.
Okay.
In a way, right? Because the AI supercycle going into 6G is an opportunity for the carriers to say, well, I have an infrastructure that I own, I have power to this infrastructure, it's already physical. For example, in AI RAN, one of the ways to do it is pull out an Earthscale card and put back in a card with an accelerator that allows the carrier to maybe monetize an AI workload. But we also work with the neo-clouds very closely. We have a partnership with Nscale, a large neo-European cloud, around the network that the data center needs. And I think it's going back to this AI grid concept that we presented yesterday, right? That the telco has the right to play in access and transport, right? Some own fiber, some are mobile. So there is an opportunity for them to go back and reevaluate their business model and say, where is these? I think of it as water. These tokens will flow like water, and some of them will go to the edge, some will go through optical fiber, some will go to the home. Maybe there's an inference device at home. And the carriers have an opportunity to work with us and co-innovate and partner to invest in that future.
They need the tools, and that's where you're helping them, right?
That's
At Nokia,
exactly right.
With the full stack, as you say, from the core all the way out to the edge, from the optical up to the G standard.
And co-innovation. One of our strategic goals that we outlined in our Investor Day was co-innovate with partners.
Yeah, the ecosystem.
The ecosystem. So what we talked about yesterday, NVIDIA, T-Mobile, Indosat, and all the other partners mentioned there, SoftBank, can't happen without the ecosystem, and also can happen ultimately without the associate GSMA here, and without the standard bodies, but it has to just go faster because AI is already here.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much. Really interesting. Thank you.
Thanks.